In overall truck sales, the Toyota Tacoma is a solid 4th place. So what does the 2019 TRD Pro bring to the table? We'll find out on this episode of Driving Sports TV. This is the 2019 Toyota Tundra. It doesn't have a Wi-Fi hotspot, color-changing interior lighting, or even a choice of drive modes. It is an old-fashioned, honest, full-size truck that is built to take on real work every day. The model we're looking at here is the TRD Pro. This is the top-level trim. Price as you see it here is $51,040, including destination. Exclusive to the TRD Pro are the twin exhaust outlets, underbody skid plate, 18-inch BBS wheels, TRD-tuned Fox shocks with remote reservoirs, a special blacked-out grille, special leather seats, and LED fog lights from Rigid Industries. Though you can get the Tundra with a variety of engines and cab configurations, something like 27 variations, if you choose the TRD Pro, your list gets a lot shorter. You see, it only comes with one cab design, the 4-door CrewMax, with a 5.5-foot short bed. Likewise, you get one engine choice, the 5.7-liter iForce V8. This engine is quite the mill. Built in Alabama for the past 13 years, it's shared with the Sequoia, the Land Cruiser, and the big Lexus LX 570. Here it puts down 381 horses and 401 pound-feet of torque without the need of a turbo. Unfortunately, that also means that economy isn't the key selling point. EPA rates it at only 13 miles to the gallon city and 17 around town. In our week with the truck, our average was even worse. Considering this engine has been in production so long, reliability is pretty much a foregone conclusion. 100 years from now, there will probably be mutant cockroaches driving down the interstate with this very engine. Power is managed with a 6-speed automatic transmission with a dual-range gearbox. That means that most of the time, this truck is rear-wheel drive. However, with a simple flip of the switch, you can engage the 4-wheel drive high or low modes. Of course, unlike the new Ford F-150 or Chevy Silverado, the Tundra doesn't have an auto 4-wheel drive mode. So you'll want to avoid 4-wheel drive on paved surfaces, or you'll just get that skipping on the outside wheel as it doesn't adjust inside and outside tire rotation like all-wheel drive can. If you are seriously considering the Tundra for daily driving, the lack of an automatic all-wheel drive option can be a big deal, especially because it is a feature now offered by the competition. The 4-wheel drive on this Tundra does need to stick to gravel roads, loose dirt, and snow cover roads like this one. But as you can see, if the snow is slick enough, even 4-wheel drive won't always save you.
There's lots of snow here, and it's not just snow. This is wet, slick stuff. I mean, you look at this is not the flaky Midwest snow. This is very slick. So we went up this road and we were trying to stay on the main track, but then the grooves hit us off into the soft stuff on the side, and I got the Tundra stuck.
Looks like it's time to break out the shovel. Unfortunately, that also means no off-roading today. That is the road that leads to our usual spot. Better tires certainly would have helped. Maybe next time. Now, back to the details. Our test truck came with the optional tow package. This includes all the necessary connections, plus a brake controller, a heavy-duty alternator, and extra fluid coolers. Max towing on this trim level is 9,200 pounds. Payload capacity is a generous 1,560 pounds. In the back, you get a slider kit to help you with tying down loads. A spare is hidden under the bed. Oh, and you know how most trucks these days will offer a sliding window of some sort in the back? On this one, it's the whole window. I don't know why I like that so much, but I really do love it. The second row of the crew cab is quite spacious. Seats can flip up to fit gear securely, or fold them down to carry workmates. They're easy enough for even my kid to do it. Adults fit easily, as you can see. Accessories for the second row are rather limited, with only a single power socket and vents accessible. Pull yourself into the driver's seat for a commanding view of the road. There are lots of cubbies to store phones, drinks, and whatnot. Seats are nicely adjustable, but beyond that, there's not a lot to recommend here over the competition. The interior is showing its age with the oversized switchgear crafted from shiny metallic-like plastics. This is a look that is so far out of fashion, it's really risking coming around again, much like 90s music. Toyota has managed to shoehorn in their latest Safety Sense P system. This provides collision mitigation with pedestrian detection, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alerts with toe sway warning, and automatic control of the LED high beams. No blind spot warnings though, you'll have to deal with normal mirrors. You can enable and disable key features through the multifunction display in the main gauge cluster. It's flanked by a normal speedo and tach, plus it gets coolant and voltage gauges, which is helpful for a truck that might actually need to do some serious work. Infotainment is the older Toyota system. In other words, not great, especially when compared to other vehicles in this class. No Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, though you can use your mobile device through USB as a music player, or you can go hands-free with Bluetooth. Oh, side note, I do expect that CarPlay will be added to the Tundra next year because the rest of the Toyota lineup has been getting it as well. The built-in maps and search in this head unit really aren't great, and pretty much everything else can be done better by an iPhone. The most useful function of this system is to provide backup camera functionality. As you saw earlier in this episode, our off-road test areas are unreachable due to the massive amount of snow that dumped on the Pacific Northwest just before filming. We're going to have to stick to country roads to evaluate this beast of a truck. Let's start with a 0 to 60 with the truck in standard two-wheel drive mode.
Complete stop, and 3, 2, 1, and go. A little spin out because of wet road. 30, 40, 50, and 60.
That was about 7.5 seconds, 1 second quicker than doing the same test with the Chevy Silverado. Though, to be fair, we did test the new 2.7-liter turbocharged Silverado, so it's not exactly apples to V8s, but that's what we have to work with. Now, I see these big trucks everywhere in the Pacific Northwest, but I still can't get over to the fact that so many people drive these big rigs every single day. This Tundra is huge. You feel the heft around every corner. Combined with vague steering means you'll want to keep the Tundra at a more pedestrian pace when the road starts to get twisty.
Feels like there's about, 40 degrees of play in the steering wheel here. Just because there's suspension, that's so much travel.
And of course, big trucks and parking lots, that's not any fun either. I know you're going to call me a sissy for saying that, but honestly, there are so many more practical trucks if you don't actually use it for truck purposes. If you're going to get a big truck just to say, hey, I have a big truck, that's ridiculous. Get something more practical, something you can actually drive around a mall parking lot and park without blocking the entire garage. Back to the review.
Now, I got to admit that driving a rig like this on small, windy country roads is not the most confidence-inspiring of situations. It's big, it's tall, it rolls a lot in the corners. Come on. You know, this display cluster, it's functional, but it definitely is a throwback. Where everybody else is going with fancy screens, this one, it's old school. Tach on the left, speedo on the right.
Even in the lower lands, there was still a lot of slush on the roads, and here is where the nose gets a little squirrely. This truck isn't a precision tool by any measure. This is where auto switching to all-wheel drive actually would have been really handy. Instead, I have to stop, switch modes, and start up again. And then when I get out of the slush, then I have to stop, switch modes, and go back into two-wheel drive. Honestly, that was fine several years ago, but the Tundra, it's just really feeling its age since I just got out of the Chevy Silverado with auto four-wheel drive, which honestly is a great feature. There's nothing wrong with wanting to drive an all-wheel drive truck in all-wheel drive mode on sealed surfaces. When it gets wet, rainy, a little bit of snow where it's not quite really needed to be in full four-wheel drive lock mode, okay. nothing wrong with that. The Tundra is a distant fourth in American truck sales. 120,000 units is nothing to scoff at, but if Toyota really wants to make up sales, they're going to need a new Tundra, stat. The number one seller, moving 451,000 trucks annually, the Ford F-150 offers more capability and drivability with the latest models. Where the number two Silverado just received a solid update as well. This is tough competition, and the Tundra, it's really not up to it. Still, there are some things to really like about this Toyota Tundra. It is going to be as reliable as the day is long, it's plenty capable, and with active safety standard, it also really kind of makes it a smart buy for a certain type of owner. Lastly, it kind of is comforting to know that for people that still want just a truck and not a rolling office complete with kitchenette and Wi-Fi, the Tundra provides that option. Is old school the best school? Tell us what you think. Leave a comment below. Also, be sure to rate and share our videos. And with that, I gotta go board a plane so that I can go film Matt Farah's Countach along with Larry Casilla. It's gonna be a great week. See you next time. Oh, and that's an episode coming soon right here to Driving Sports TV. So, subscribe!